Hello, hello, welcome to the stream. It is Friday night, which means it is time for Pirates of Drinax. And as always, thank you to Mongoose Publishing for letting me use the Pirates of Drinax soundtrack theme music in the opening of this session. So, session 2. Last time we started piracy. We did a mission from the Traveler Companion, not Traveler Companion, the Pirates of Drinax Companion called First Prize, in which we took this aging pirate, Margaret Blaine, 92 years old, though looking very good for her age, out on one last mission to recover some property that had been stolen from her many decades previously. Along the way, she kind of taught us the basics of piracy and helped us get away with a good prize, a good first prize, and introduce us to a fence on Exset up here, who we could sell our goods to, and we made a decent profit. We flew back, we did a little bit of trade along the way, and that reminds me, let me just look something up. Okay, yes, there's a couple of YouTube comments I wanted to... Well, there was one YouTube comment I wanted to mention, and then another one has appeared yesterday. So thank you for commenting on the YouTube video. So here we have a couple of tips. We can buy unrefined fuel and let our fuel processors convert it, because I was complaining about how expensive fuel was. In fact, if we look at our ship finances, you can see that when we refueled, it cost us 20,000 credits to fill up the ship. It will be less money if we bought unrefined fuel. It will just take a little bit longer. Also, if we're traveling without interest in piracy, we can take standard cargo, which is good. So I took mail and passengers a couple of times, and I was reflecting on this after the session. Because at the time my thinking was that yes, it brings in a bit of extra money, but it also makes us look like a more legitimate ship, which it does. But if we bring along a passenger and they turn out to be a problematic passenger, an interesting passenger, that could go bad very quickly if they somehow discover that we're a pirate. So probably sticking to mail, cargo, similar inanimate objects is best. Though of course I'm sure taking passengers would be good from time to time, but we need to be careful about it. It can't just be the default thing. Also, the ship does kind of look like crap on the inside, which is why we have all of these. If we look at our fleet over here, we have that browser window is too big. Let me resize this so it fits properly. Hang on a moment. There we go. So our ship is very damaged, and it just looks bad. We need to spend a lot of money on cosmetic repairs. The crew accommodation is fairly bad. So getting passengers on our ship that looks like crap might not be ideal. So I think I'll stick to cargo and mail. Got another comment just yesterday, which I had not seen until now. So this is good. Let's see. I'm very happy to hear that seeing my video has pushed this person to starting some solo stuff. Honestly, I don't think I'm very good at this, so it is good that I'm an inspiration to at least one person. Thank you, and I hope you keep watching. So also last time we did our first mission. We got our first prize. We spent a lot of money on stuff, a lot of time on stuff actually. We're now 16 weeks in, and we've really done like one job and started the next. So we kind of finished the session by deciding we wanted to go and do some random piracy. We didn't just want to follow along the missions in the campaign book and the companion and my various other traveler scenario collections I've got. We want to actually just go out and see who we can rob. So we jumped over to Pawn, which is of course named after some author. or another, I think. Okay, Googling for porn just finds me the other sort, so I'm afraid that I cannot confirm who porn is named after. But I'm pretty sure it's a sci-fi author, right? Like we've got Clark over here. Anyway, I don't know. It's named after someone in the real world. A lot of the Traveller worlds are like named after actual like people and things and their references. Anyway, this is all completely irrelevant. We jumped to porn to do some random piracy, and Pirates of Drinax provides a couple of nice random tables for that. So in the core rulebook, we have our space encounters table, which is this big D66 tables. That is a table where you roll two D6s and you read one as the tens die, one as the units, which goes from 1 up to 96, and we add some modifiers to the first die, so the tens die, based on whether this is a very traffic system, whether it's got a high port, and so on and so forth. We didn't do that this time, I don't think. Instead, we looked at Pirates of Drinax, which has a table for piracy encounters, or prey encounters, as it calls them. So if you're looking for someone to rob, you can roll on this table. Again, it's got a bunch of modifiers based on what sort of world, or what sort of space you're in. And we encountered, I believe it was either a small freighter or a traveller. I think it was a small freighter, probably. And a small freighter is a far trader, free trader, or other 100 to 300 ton trade vessel. Such vessels are ideal prey for most pirates, as they can quickly be looted and are unlikely to have significant defenses. There's a whole morale system for beating someone into giving up, but we rolled on the ship, the prey quirks table, and we have a prey complications table. Oh, oops. The prey we got is no surrender, so the crew will not surrender under any circumstances. Ignore morale. So these people are going to fight until we beat them into submission, or we give up. And the complication was quite fun. The complication is that an NPC from our backstory was on the ship. So in Traveller character creation, when you go through this complicated life path character creation system, you end up rolling up relevant NPCs. So our captain here, Captain Massa, has an enemy who we met in her naval career. So in term 2, she foiled a crime, which earned her a lifelong enemy. We determined this was smuggling. And this person hates Massa. They'll do almost anything to get one over on us, and they might actively plot against us, even if there's no gain to them. And they have a significant asset, such as a starship and crew or mercenaries, but they have very local influence. They're not a major power in the world. John, our Varga with an unpronounceable name who goes by John amongst humans, has 3 other NPCs, an enemy and 2 rivals. Nobody has any allies or contacts. We just have people who hate us. But the complication we rolled up is that Ike, this smuggler from Master's backstory, is on the ship, which makes sense as to why they wouldn't surrender. If this person hates us so much, then as soon as they realize it's us attacking them, they're going to try to use this to get one over on us, possibly kill us. So that's where we are beginning. We're beginning with space combat. I thought a bit about what this ship is, and I've lost the page now, but let's have a look. I decided it was probably the Type A2 Far Trader, which is kind of I would say this is like the prototypical traveler ship, or one of them. Like the Far Trader and the Far Trader and the Free Trader, I would say, are like the player character ships in Traveller. You know, they're not too expensive to operate. They've got good cargo space. They're pretty good ships for a small crew of like ragtag player characters. But in this case, we found one operated by an NPC. The reason I picked this is because it is a jump 2 ship. So if you look at our map, you see there's lots of gaps between the worlds. So here we have like a group of worlds all kind of connected together. This kind of astrographical structure is called a Kusai is included as well. It's called a main. You can all the ships are kind of adjacent. All the worlds rather are kind of adjacent. They are 1 parsec apart. If we look at, say, Drinax and Clark, they are not adjacent. There's a gap of 1 parsec between them. So to travel between worlds in a main, you can use a jump 1 ship. You just jump from one hex to the next. But to jump between mains, you need a jump 2 ship. So jumping from Sync to Ergo would require a jump 2 ship. And as this area of space has lots of gaps, and really, if you're out here like doing trade or whatever, you're probably going between the Third Imperium up here and the Aslan Hierate down here, or maybe the Florian League over here. You're going to be crossing over these gaps, so you really need to have a ship of greater than jump 1. You could do it with jump 1, it's just a bit difficult. You need to carry extra fuel, which then cuts into your cargo space. So really, just having a jump 2 ship makes sense. The Type A2 Far Trader by default doesn't come with any weapons, so I think we'll just say this ship has dual beam turrets, much like the enemy in First Prize did. We didn't actually have to fight them in First Prize, we just convinced them to stand down, but that's not going to happen in this adventure. So, let's actually just copy the ship details. Yeah, maybe we need a floor plan. Just copy the. Actually, I'll just open a second copy of High Guard because we'll need to like flip between the ship weapons and the ship details. So let me just find that. Here we go. All right, so yes, the plan for the session is we are going to open with space combat against this Type A2 Far Trader. It is captained by Ike, who hates Marsa. Ike is a smuggler, so this ship is probably going to be carrying something valuable. We've also encountered them in the outer system as we entered our session by jumping to the gas giant in Pawn and refueling. So this ship has also come out to the gas giant rather than go to the starport. So they're probably carrying some illicit goods, which is good for us, as illicit goods tend to be valuable. We rolled up our encounter distance. We are at medium range, which is like 10,000 kilometers away, so basically next door in space terms. Let's get our space combat chapter up. Yes, we're in medium range, which is 1,251 to 10,000 kilometers apart. So we shall, I guess, they've probably detected us at this point, so medium range is the point at which they've realized where we are approaching. So we weren't like specifically hiding because we didn't know if a ship was coming. We just kind of like lurked out here for a while to see if we got lucky, and we did. So they've jumped in to refuel the gas giant. We've each detected the other at medium range. We're going to fly in and fight them and take their stuff, and then I think after that, we are going to go to, assuming this is all successful, that is. So we're currently in Pawn. I think we're then going to go back to Exoset, which is where the fence is that Margaret Blaine, the NPC pirate in the previous adventure, introduced us to. Because we know that this guy will take our ill-gotten gains, and I want to try to court this person as an asset. So the Traveller... I keep saying traveler. The Drinax companion, which is here, has a whole like system somewhere. I think it's like near the beginning. A criticism I have of the Traveller PDFs is the PDF bookmarks are not very good. You kind of have to know like roughly where you're looking and then scroll through. Like there isn't like a bookmark for this assets and factions. There's just a bookmark for the how to build an empire chapter. But it kind of varies. It's like the actual Pirates of Drinax PDF, it doesn't even have the chapter bookmarks. Anyway, we can recruit NPCs as assets, which means they will do things for us. And yes, here are like examples of things that assets might do for us. So they might do like they might provide us sensitive information. So maybe we could go to this guy and say, hey, we've been good to you for a while. Always giving you a good cut of the business. Have you happened? Do you happen to have heard anything about interesting cargo passing through in the near future? And maybe he would pass that information on to us if we were good friends with him. Whereas right now we've had literally one interaction with him, so he wouldn't be inclined to like give us any valuable intel. Or maybe if you want to be introduced to a fence elsewhere, because it is a little bit awkward having to go out of our way to access it all the time. It'd be good to know about a fence on, I don't know, like, I'm not sure which of these worlds is particularly piratey, but I don't know, like Inurin or Sink or whatever. If there's like any fences we could meet around there, that would be good to know. There's also this world over here, Thieve, which is the secret pirate world. It took me a really like embarrassingly long time to realize that Thieve is just it's just Thieve spelled differently. Anyway, Thieve appears to be just like a small kind of backwater world with a little starport on it, like a little orbital shipyard. But actually, it is the secret realm of the pirate lords. And if we want to get an introduction to go to Thieve, again, maybe being in the good books with a few fences could be a stepping stone towards that. So, anyway, let's get into space combat. So, space combat is a little bit involved. So, it's like everyone knows how normal RPG combat works, right? Like you determine initiative. Some systems you roll for it. In some systems it's based on like a stat on your character sheet. In some systems it's like popcorn initiative where you do your move and then say who goes next. In some systems it's side-based initiative, like all the players go and then all the enemies go or whatever. It's the same thing in Traveller. You roll initiative and you kind of act in that order. Space Battle, however, it has multiple phases and we go in initiative order in each phase. So firstly we need to determine initiative, which is 2d6 plus the pilot's skill plus the ship's thrust score. So our pilot is Captain Mars, who I believe has a 2 in piloting. Yes, so I'm going to be rolling 2d6 plus 2, and let's get my ship list open, because this has really good thrust. This is a thrust 6 ship. So I'm going to be rolling 2d6 plus 8. The NPC ship, the victim, of course I don't know, I don't have stats for them, so I'm just going to kind of go along the pirate crew things. I'm going to say they probably have a good pilot who therefore has a +2. So they're rolling 2d6 plus 2 plus 1. Their ship is only a thrust 1 ship. So in total, I'm rolling with a +8, they're rolling with a +3. So I'm very likely to win this initiative roll. Also, having a high thrust will mean I can do more on my turn than they can. So I played out like a test space combat last night just to get a feel for the rules. It's been a while, and I disabled their ship and closed them to dock very quickly. So I expect a similar thing to happen now. So, initiative. Okay, I've got a 12 plus 8. I've got a 20 for initiative. Also, I'm going to just note things down on a piece of paper. I guess, it's a shame you can't see it, but last time I was like noting things down in the session log as they happened, and it just involved a lot of like flipping back to this tab and typing away. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to note things down on paper, and then I will, add things to the notes like afterwards. So I'll probably just have like one bullet point for the space combat rather than, note everything down. Anyway, I have a 20 initiative. And they have, what is this, a 6 plus, what do they have? They had a 3, so they got a 9. So we have crushed them in the initiative roll. So now Space Combat has a couple of phases. I could have rolled my Tactics Naval to get a bonus on this roll, but equally, I could have botched this roll and then harmed my initiative. But there wasn't really any need to because my ship is so much faster. Anyway, there are a few phases. So there is a maneuver phase where the ships move around. I can try to close the distance or get further away. They can do combat maneuvering, so they can spend points of thrust. Remember, I have 6 points of thrust. They only have 1 point of thrust to line the ships up for a good shot, or to try to dock with a ship that doesn't want to be docked with, or to avoid incoming fire. After we've maneuvered, we have the attack step. So I maneuver, they maneuver, then I attack, they attack. We've got some stuff about how damage works. A lot of it about how damage works. Critical hits are a big deal, so essentially we will you don't beat a spaceship by reducing its health to 0. I mean that would defeat it, but that would essentially destroy it. You defeat the spaceship by inflicting critical hits and just wrecking them, so just disabling their maneuver drive so they can't escape, that sort of thing. Anyway, after attacks, which involves reactions, we can try to avoid incoming fire. We then have some actions, which essentially each character can perform one action. There's some special rules for missile combat. I have missiles, they don't. I'm probably going to skip the missiles because missiles are just a bit more complicated, and honestly, I didn't read through this section last night. And then we have some separate rules for fighting at very close range, which is generally bad if you're in a spaceship, because they're not, an actual spaceship is not really designed for close flybys, very rapid nearby fighting. But my ship has thrust 6, so even though I'd be suffering a penalty, I'd still be doing pretty well. Whereas their ship is thrust 1, so that they'd really have a hard time with this. So I think my goal here is to shoot them up a little bit to damage their ship, then close into rapidly close into adjacent range and forcibly dock with them, and then I'll send my marines on board to go and ideally not kill the enemy, but disable them. Anyway, that's the plan. Now, of course, the actual plan as far as the characters are concerned is they're going to fire one shot and then demand surrender, but the NPCs aren't going to surrender. So, maneuver step. We have 6 points of thrust. We're currently at medium range. We could spend 5 points of thrust to move into short range. Which, does that mean No, that doesn't mean we switch over to the close combat rules. So, yes, we shall spend 5 points of thrust to move into short range, and we will reserve 1 point of thrust to try to evade incoming fire. So we're in short range. They, I think, are so they can see that we're way faster than they are, so trying to run doesn't really make sense. I feel like they probably realize in this situation, if they're a competent crew and they see us closing with them very quickly, they probably know that their only options are to evade until we get bored, or fight back and try to scare us off. So I think they're going to spend 1 point of thrust, their only point of thrust, to aid gunners. So in this, the NPC pilot, who we said has a +2 for piloting, will make a pilot check to start a task chain. And I should have opened another copy of the book so I can get the task chain table. Let's copy the task chain table. Oops. Also, another slight annoyance with the Traveller PDFs. All the PDF page numbers are off by 1. So I typed in 60 in my PDF view, but I'm on page 59. Anyway, task chain. Let's just copy this over because we'll probably be referring to this a fair bit. Back to space combat. Okay, so they're going to roll with a +2, and depending on the result, they'll get a bonus or a penalty to their gunners. That is a 5 plus 2 is a 7. That's actually a failure, so that's a -1. Okay, that's unfortunate for them. Right, so now both ships have maneuvered, so we're in the attack step. My ship, as I said, it has missiles. I'm not going to use the missiles. We also have a particle barbette, which has the accurate and high yield modifiers. So, scroll down to my notes here. Our ship, because it's got good maneuverability, we impose a -1 penalty to all incoming attacks. We can make 2 automated attacks per round, or we can give a +2 to a non-automated attack, or we can kind of split the difference. We can make 1 automated attack and give a +1 to 1 manual attack. I think we're just going to go for the +2 since we're not doing any missiles. We want to board the ship, not completely destroy it. And our particle barbette gives us a bonus to hit. So our gunner, unfortunately, is green. He gets a +0 to his gunning. So he is going to roll, so it's going to be 2d6 plus 2 plus 3, and I think that's it. 2d6 plus 3. That is an 8, which is a success. Oh, we also get some modifiers for the range. So we are in short range. No, yes, we are in short range to go to +1, so that's actually a 9. Okay, so that's a 9. So spaceship damage. Actually, let's just quickly check reactions. Can they do anything? Probably not, because they've used up all their thrust. Yeah, they can't take evasive action because they have used the thrust to try to line up their gunners. Their guns, rather. Not the gunners. The gunners are at the guns. Okay. So, damage. I need to roll the damage for the particle barbette. The particle barbette deals 4 dice of damage. It also deals radiation damage. I'm just going to ignore that and assume that the ship... it actually says somewhere in here that you can essentially simplify radiation damage if you're firing at a ship. If you're firing at a person with a spaceship weapon, the radiation is things to be concerned about. If you're firing at a ship with a radiation weapon, not so much a big deal. Anyway, the particle barbette is 4 dice of damage, and we get to, because it is high yield, we get to re-roll damage dice of a 1 or 2. So we're going to do a lot of damage here. Okay, so got a 10, 19 on the damage. We add in the effects of our roll, so we rolled a 9. So that is an effects of 1, because we are 1 above the target number, which is 8. So that is 20 damage. The ship has 2 armor, so that is 18 damage. So they have 80 hull points, their ship's HP. So we knock them down to 62. This is enough to cause 2 critical hits. So, there are 2 ways to get a critical hit in space combat. The first is if you get an effect of 6 on your 2-hit roll. So, if I had rolled a 14 or higher on my 2-hit roll, that would have caused a critical hit. You also cause 1 critical hit for every 10% of the ship's starting hull that you do in damage. They had an 80 in their starting hull, so for every 8 points of damage I do, and I've just dealt 18 points of damage, I deal a critical hit. So let's roll for a critical hit. Let's roll both critical hits at the same time. I've got my critical hit locations table here. Got an 8 and a 7. So that is the hull and the M drive. Oh, unfortunate for them. The hull, they suffer 1d6 damage. They got 5 more damage. Which is actually... Ooh, doesn't quite bring them to the next critical hit. 1 more point of damage and they'll take another critical hit. Okay, so they're now down to 57 hit points out of 80. And they take a critical hit to their M drive, which means that all checks to control the spacecraft suffer a -1 modifier. Which will be unfortunate for them when we close into like dogfighting range. Okay, I think I've done everything correctly there. So now it's their turn to attack, which they're definitely going to do. So they have, as I said, 2 beam lasers, which I just copied from the first prize mission here. So the ship that we attacked here, the Secondai, it says somewhere in here that they have 2 single turrets with beam lasers. So I just copied that for this ship, since if one smuggler has it, maybe this smuggler has it as well. So it's not a double turret, though. Double turrets have special rules. They get a bonus. It is 2 single turrets. So they're going to be making 2 attacks. I think they probably have, I say they have good gunners. I'm saying all the crew on the ship is good. Why not? So they have a +2 on their 2 hit. And they get to roll twice because they have 2 weapons. So I have 1 point of thrust left, which I can spend on a reaction. So let's just have a look. Okay, I'm going to spend my last point of thrust to take evasive action on the first shot. So I will roll these in order so that I'm not inclined to cheat and say that, like, if only one of them hits, I'm going to be like, oh, I dodged that one. Okay, so first one, well, that's a complete miss, and I said I spent a point of thrust, so they really missed that one. Second, they have a bunch of positive modifiers, but I think a 3 wouldn't be enough. You can't get the 3 up. Yeah. Okay, their second attack. Oh, that's really not their day. So that's a 5. -1 because of their bad piloting, so that's a 4. -1 because my ship is dodgy. So that's a 3. +2 for their skill, so they have a 5 overall, which is not enough to hit. So they missed both of their shots. Very unfortunate for them. And now we get to the action step. So there's a bunch of different things that we can do, or that they can do. So they can't jump because they've just come in from jump, and we have attacked them before they've refueled. So they cannot jump. Also, their ship doesn't have enough power to run the maneuver drive and the jump drive at the same time. So their ship produces 75 power, but both their maneuver drive and jump drive cost 40 power each to use. So they have to actually switch off their maneuver drive in order to jump away. And I don't think they're going to switch off their maneuver drive even if they were refueled at this point. What can they do? So they can try to overload their drive to make their ship more maneuverable. Probably repairing the critical hit to the M drive makes sense. Yeah, I think there's 2 things that make sense. There's repairing the M drive, or they're trying to get a sensor lock on us so that they can better shoot us next time. I'm just going to say 50-50 on what they do. So 1 to 3, they'll repair the M drive. 4 to 6, they'll try to get a sensor lock. Okay, they're going to try to repair the M drive. And we'll resolve that in a moment because we do still go in initiative order in this. So, what we are going to do is we are going to reach out to them on our comms and demand their surrender. Massa will get on the comms, and I never named this ship. What's a good name for a spaceship? Let's see. Spaceship. Here we go. Donjon Sci-Fi name generator. Space. Ships. The Astral Horizon. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Let's note down that is the Astral Horizon, in case this is a recurring friend. Okay, Astral Horizon. Also, if you're interested in my incredibly brief notes, you can see I'm not really writing down much. I guess my style of note taking in the middle of an RPG session is very brief. Really just enough to like jog the memory or keep track of numbers that I need, because I can then like write up better notes after the session when everything is still fresh in my mind. And the bullet points are just to like jog my memory in that writing up process. So that's what I do for my like home games with my groups. That's what I'm going to try doing here. Master gets in the comms, and I suppose we need to make a comms check to actually reach out to them. So we get a +2 to comms checks because our ship is great. And I think John is our comms master. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's a +1 in comms. I can never remember what skills you use for various things. Let's open another copy of the core book. Go to the big skill list. Let's see. Electronics, comms. Okay. We maybe don't even need to make a roll for this, actually. Yeah, I guess we don't need to make a roll. I don't believe it says so in the combat rules either. Yeah. So in somewhere in the Drinax PDFs, there's something about demanding surrender. Yes, demanding surrender. There's an electronics comms check with SOC. However, we know that they're going to refuse. They're not even going to bother rolling this. If I was like running this for a group, I might make them roll for this, even though I know it's not going to matter. I'm generally not a fan of making rolls where the outcome doesn't matter, but it depends on whether the players should know that it's not going to succeed or not. So let's say I was GMing this for a group and I said, okay, make a roll. If they roll poorly and the enemies don't surrender, the players might think, well, I guess we just weren't very convincing. Maybe we can try again, and they might like put more effort into trying to convince them. But if they rolled really well and the enemies refused, the players would be like, oh, I guess these guys are going to fight to the death. So it kind of gives a bit of information away. Whereas if you don't roll at all, you're giving away they're not going to surrender, no matter what they try. Anyway, since this is a solo game and I'm metagaming all the time here, I'm just not going to bother rolling to try to convince them. So Master gets on the comms and is like, Astral Horizon, stand down. We've I don't know, I guess like your engine's leaking. Your engine like this. I'm sure she would have a better way of saying this. So I guess the point she gets across is like we've banged up your ship pretty badly, and we can see this like listing to the side. You're not able to control it very well. Just surrender, hand over your valuables, and you'll get out of this all right. Like we're not here to like we just want whatever cargo you've got. We're not here to like to hurt anyone. But then the comms are silent for feels like maybe an awkward amount of time, and then a familiar sounding voice comes over this like crackly comm. I imagine it's super crackly, even though this is like space technology, because it's Traveler. It's kind of like retrofuturism a bit. A voice comes over the comm, it's like, well, 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 I'd recognize that voice anywhere. Massa, how the mighty have fallen. You've come down to my level now. Ike, is that you? It goes on like this for a little bit. But essentially, what it boils down to is Ike is not going to surrender, and Ike very much likes that Massa, the up-and-coming flight officer, is now a common criminal just like he is. Anyway, they, as we determined, so when the comms like click off, Ike turns to the henchman number 1 inside of his ship and is like, "Go repair the engine." So let's see. There's going to be an engineer check. I've been saying that everyone on this ship is good, so let's do that. So 2d6 plus 2 wants to get at least an 8. Nope. But they will get a cumulative +1 every round if they keep at this. So they got a 7 total. So next round, if we rolled this again next round, that would be a success because it had the +1. Anyway, that was round 1. Right, now for round 2. So we keep the same initiative. We do not re-roll initiative every round like you do in some systems. So we maneuver. I think we are just going to... We don't actually smash them up that badly. Maybe we want to stay at this distance, just like ensure they don't escape, and shoot them one more time before closing in to damage them. Like, it would be really good if we could disable their maneuver drive or something, but not so good that I'm going to try cold shot, because cold shots give a penalty. So I think we are going to... Thing is, if we don't like close with them and try to dock, we're pretty much wasting all of our points of thrust. I guess we can try to aid the gunners. Sure, I'll go for aid gunners, and then we'll have like 5 points of thrust left for evasive action. So I'm rolling 2d6 plus 3. That is a 9, 12. Which, if we look here, we got a 12. That is a effect of 1 to 5. It is an effect of 4 specifically. So we get a +1 to our gunner roll, which is, not great, not terrible. The enemy, I guess, they can see that we're faster than them. I don't think trying to run away makes sense for them. I think they're going to try to aid the gunners again. Oh, they definitely succeeded that one, so they got a 14. So they get a +2. So that's us, that's them. Right, now for weapons. Gonna fire at them with my space gun. So 2d6 plus 1 from this. +2 from my good thing, plus 1 from this. So that's a 2d6 plus 4 in total. That is... that's a 12, so... we got an effect of 4, so not enough for an automatic critical hit, but that's still going to apply 4 extra points of damage. Right, so let's roll damage. Alright, so I believe that's 21 points of damage in total, minus their armor, so 19 points of damage. So that brings them down to 38, which is another 2 critical hits. Because we've gone down from 57 to 38. They've taken 4 critical hits total because their starting health was 80. So 2 more critical hits. Let's roll for what those are. Oh, there's actually 1 more point of damage because I'm in short range. Yeah. Okay. So it's actually 20 damage. Still 2 critical hits. So let's see, what do we got here? We have an 8 and a 9. That is another critical hit to the M drive and a critical hit to the cargo. No. Okay, so we've now got a severity 2 critical hit on the M drive. All checks to control the spacecraft suffer DM -2, and thrust is reduced by -1. So they have no thrust left. Their ship is just like moving in like a ballistic trajectory. Like however they last moved, that is how it is continuing to move. And the cargo, 10% of the cargo is destroyed. That is sad. So we like shoot their ship and we see like an explosion from like the back where the M drive is, and then like a secondary explosion, like a bit more like central, like where the cargo bay is. They are going to try to attack us now, so they got a +2 from their task chain. And they have a good gunner, so that's going to be +4 in total. I am going to take evasive action on both shots, so that they get to make 2 shots. So that's 2d6 +2 both times. Okay, that's an 8, so that is a hit. And the second one, that's a 6, 7, 8. That's also a hit. So we have 2 hits from them. Slightly better than an 8, actually. It's a beam laser. And they're attacking in short range. So, ooh, beam lasers get a +4. I think I missed that last time. Okay, so they actually get an effect of 5 on both of those. That's going to hurt. Okay, beam lasers. Beam lasers only deal 1 dive damage, though. So, you know, not great, not terrible. I suppose it's actually pretty terrible. Hang on, I forgot that my ship also imposes a -1 penalty to all incoming attacks, so they actually have effects 4. So d6 +4 for each of these. And my ship has decent armor. My ship has 4 points of armor, so it's actually just a d6 damage each. That is 2 and a 1. That is 3 points of damage, which is not enough for a critical hit. Let's note this down here. So my ship is supposed to have 88 hull points, which means it will take a critical hit every 8.8 damage. I guess I would just say 8. We started with 40 HP because the ship is in poor repair, but that doesn't mean that we're taking critical hits based on that. Anyway, even if we were, we've not taken 4 points of damage, so we're fine. Okay. So next is actions. Because we could like demand surrender again, but I mean they're not going to surrender. They're definitely going to try to repair their M drive, given that they can't move at the moment. So let's just roll for that, I suppose. If the spacecraft receives a critical hit to the same location during this time, the traveler must start again from the beginning with no positive die modifier. So they do not get the +1 from it being their second round at trying this because it has taken a second critical hit. That is 7. We said they're good, so that's actually a 9. Okay, so they have repaired 1 critical hit to their M drive, so they have thrust back, and they're back to a -1 penalty. Curses. I think I'm going to close with them and try to dock next round, though, because we've knocked them down to under half health. Um. Okay. What I'm gonna do is, hmm, maybe I actually do want to spend another round shooting them up. Like, it's unlikely I would destroy them next round. Yeah, I'm going to try to get a sensor lock so I can make an electronic sensor check, which will give me a boon die. My sensors guy is John. I assume it is like intelligence. Let's have a look. Sensors. It doesn't say here. It mentions electronic warfare somewhere, I think. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's probably just like, yeah, okay. See electronic warfare. Oh right, okay. It doesn't tell me the attributes, characteristic rather. It's probably intelligence. Actually, no. Electronics stuff tends to be education. Let's say John is rolling an education electronics sensors to get a sensor lock. His education is a +2, so that's actually pretty good, and his sensors is a 1, so he's rolling 2d6 +3. Okay. That's a success. We don't get any bonus for doing especially well. So yes, we get a boon, which means we roll 3d6 and take the best 2. All right, next round. I think we're going to do the same as last time. So we're going to try to aid our gunner, and we're going to then save the rest for evasive action. So that's a 2d6 +3 for our pilot check. That's terrible. We got a 6, so I think that's a -2. Okay. They are going to, I think they're going to take evasive action. We've got 2, like we've got 4 critical hits on them in. We're getting 2 critical hits per shot, pretty much. So they're going to take evasive action, I think. So next is attacking. So we've got a -2, which is bad. So we've got 3d6 +2 because of our ship's software, -2 because of our bad piloting roll, +1 because the particle buyback is good. So okay, not great. I shouldn't have tried to aid the gunners. All right, so we get a 9, which is, you know, it's okay, I suppose. No, a 10 because we're in short range. I keep forgetting about this modifier. So we got a 10. Let's roll for damage. We get to reroll damage dice, so we get to reroll all of these. Okay, right. So that's 10, 16, 16 +1 from the effects of our roll, so we're on 17, -2 because they have 2 points of armor, so 15 points of damage. So they're down to 22 hit points. Which I think is 3 more critical hits. So we're on 4 critical hits. Oh, actually, I think last round I should have done 3 critical hits rather than 2. Okay, so yes, I'm due to do. Hang on, let's see. So I've done 2 critical hits to the M drive, 1 to the cargo, 1 to the hull. So I've done 5, and I'm now okay. Right, yes. I think I've got it right. So I've done 5 critical hits. I'm now 2 more in. So yes, I need to do 2 more critical hits. Okay. I guess the good thing about the critical hits is you can work out how many you're supposed to do by just looking how many you're supposed to have done by just looking at the health. So 2 more critical hits. I'd really like to get a critical hit on the crew, because that like actually injures a person, which is going to help when we board this ship. Ah, curse the tendency of 2d6 to roll towards a 7. Keep getting 7s. Okay, so we've got the hull and the fuel. Okay, fuel is good. Fuel, they're losing 1d tons of fuel per hour. And one more critical hit on the hull. We've already done a severity 1 critical hit to the hull, which was 1d6 points of damage. The severity 2 critical hit on the hull is 2d6 points of damage, which is pretty bad given they've only got 22 health left. Okay, that's another 8 damage. Which is another critical hit. We got a 6 on the critical hit location, which is the armor. Armor reduced by 1. Okay, so their current situation is their ship is almost destroyed. Like, if we did this round again from their current health, their ship would just explode. They have a penalty to piloting because their maneuver drive is damaged. They are leaking fuel, and their armor has been reduced from 2 points to 1 point, so they're in really bad shape. They are going to try to attack us with their beam lasers in like a last-ditch effort to... Hang on, they were taking evasive action, weren't they? They were. So they actually suffered 1 less point of damage in all that. I don't think that materially changes things. They're on 15 health rather than 14. Anyway, they're going to try to attack us with their 2 beam lasers in a last-ditch effort to scare us off. But next round we will be closing and docking with them. So they're going to make 2 attacks. They have a plus... They have a +7. That's 2 from their gunner's skill, and... So 2 from their gunner's skill. That goes up to +6 because they're using a beam laser, +7 because it's in short range. So they got a 14 and a 16. That's an effect of 6, which is a critical hit. In fact, they get 2 critical hits. An effect of 6 and an effect of 8. It's only actually a critical hit if they deal damage, though, so we've got to work that out first. Okay. So, effect of 6 and 8. I mean, my armor isn't going to get capable of absorbing all of this, so they're going to get some critical hits. I probably missed some critical hits they should have dealt on previous rounds because I've been messing up how good the modifiers are for the beam lasers. Anyway, let's roll for their damage. I have a 4 and a 6. I have 4 points of armor. Yeah. So in total, that's going to be 16 points of damage to me. Which is a pretty... Hang on. I am taking evasive action. I specifically said I was taking evasive action. So actually 3 points down on both the... sorry, 2 points down. So it's actually only 14 damage in total. Still pretty bad. So I just lost a bunch of health. I'm down to 29 hit points. Sorry, hull points. Okay. Let's see. Actually, no, surely I've just taken... Let's see. So I started at 36. Did I just mess up? I started at 46. 46, right, okay. I was thinking I started at 26. How have I got this? Yeah, anyway. Right, so at 29. So, yes, I'm on 2 critical hits. So, I've got to roll for what those are. That's not good. The tide has turned. There's a 3 and a 5. Power plant. And weapon. Okay, power plants. Let's note down my critical hits here. I really have space for it. Yeah, here we go. So power reduced by 10%. I don't think that affects anything serious. So my power plant produces 260. Oh, is that actually damaged at all? No, it's not. Okay. So I'm only producing 234 power, but that's enough to run everything that I'm currently running. My thrust is reduced by 1, so I'm down to thrust 5 from thrust 6, but I'm still way faster than they are. And so there's a power and weapon. So I need to determine which of my 2 weapons takes a Bane die. So 1 to 3 is going to be the particle barbettes, 4 to 6 is going to be the missile turret. The missile turret, perfect. I wasn't using that anyway. Okay, so I probably hear like a gloating comment from Ike over the comms at this point. But it's not enough to stop me. This has just got personal. He's damaged my shitty conditioned ship. Okay. So for my action, I think both my action and their action are going to be like repairing things. So for my action, I'm going to be trying to repair the power plants. So let's start on that. I don't think John has power, electronics power. No, engineer power. He has engineer J drive. So he's rolling 2d6 plus either int or edu. Edu's better. He's rolling 2d6 plus 2. He did it. John has repaired my power plants. Which is here. Let's see. Okay, only the effects of the critical hit can be repaired, and these quick repairs only last for 1d6 hours. So, okay, so I need to do actual repairs after the fight. So, we don't actually have any spare parts on board. So we'll need to buy some when we go to a port. Okay, anyway, they are going to try to repair their M drive again. So that's going to be 2d6 plus 2. That is unfortunately a success, so they no longer have a penalty to control their ship. Again, that's only a temporary repair, but it probably isn't going to matter. So, next round, we have 6 points of thrust. We are in medium range. No, we're in short range. We're just going to close to adjacent range immediately. Just going to spend 2 points of thrust to move up. When we move to within close or adjacent range, we immediately switch to the close range combat rules. So we just start flying and then we switch this whole separate combat system. A whole separate combat system which is woefully punishing to large spaceships, but our spaceship is punished less because we are faster. So, dogfighting. We use normal 6-second combat rounds rather than the 6-minute combat rounds of space fighting. And escaping just requires spending thrust to move beyond close range. But we are adjacent to them. We're like a kilometer away. We are really close. So, trying to attack them, we will get a massive penalty. We'll get a -6. So let's just have a look at what we can do here. So essentially we can like line up so that where we are more likely to hit them. I want to try to board the ship though. Okay, it's a little odd that so boarding actions you have to be within adjacent range, but then the dogfighting rules, which are all about adjacent range, don't mention boarding actions. In fact, boarding actions are in the regular space combat rules, which apparently we're not using anymore. Okay. I guess the way we'll resolve this is we'll go through kind of a dogfighting round, and then at the end of the round we can launch a boarding action. Or is there like anything for like forcibly docking with a target who doesn't want to be docked with? I'm sure there's something along those lines in Drinax. So look, board the targets. Of course, you use cool laser swords when you board ships. I don't have any laser swords. I do have laser guns though. Docking with a crippled target is a pilot's check. Yeah, I guess. Okay, I guess maybe we don't want to close in. Maybe we do just want to disable them. I was kind of hoping that M drive wouldn't be functional, and then we could just shut them down. Let's have a quick look at damage. I don't want to like actually destroy the ship. Once a spacecraft has been reduced to 0 hull, it is wrecked and becomes totally inoperable beyond any repair. Those on board will find themselves without power or life supports. So, if we reduce the ship to 0 hull, which is probably going to happen next round, if we keep fighting, then I mean, I guess that's the easiest way to do it. I can just say that Ike survives so he can be a recurring villain. Yeah. Yeah, I can't. I wanted them to surrender, or failing that, I wanted to disable the maneuver drive, but that's not happening. So I'll just destroy their ship, I suppose. I can send out an emergency distress signal for them and just get out of here. Yeah, that's the way to do it, I think. Disable their ship, send out a distress signal for them, and then jump away with the proceeds. Okay, right. So we're staying in regular space fighting, so we're in medium range. Sorry, no, we're in short range. I think I'll just save my thrust for. Right, okay, right, yeah, this is where we can force dock. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Opposed pilot checks to try to dock with the enemy ship. This is going to be tough because their M drive is fully functional, but I think this is what we want to do. Thank you. I think it is a pretty fun game. So, yes, let's try docking with this enemy ship. So, opposed pilot checks. I have a +3, they have a +2, and I'll be rolling with a penalty because they are trying to. It's hard to dock with a ship that doesn't want to be docked with. So, I just get rid of my best die. So, I have a success. They also have a success. So I've got an 8. They've got they've got an 8, and I've got a 9. I think that means I win. Just double check the opposed check rules. Opposed checks. The one with the highest effect wins. So yes, I have an effect of 1, they have an effect of 0. So the two ships, my ship kind of zooms in towards theirs and just like slams into it, and we like latch on docking clamps before they can escape. So I think now we just switch over to like actually fighting in the ship. So let's copy over a floor plan. Let's put that over here. Let's get the combat rules up. Here we go, combat. So as for crew on this ship, I think so they have at least the captain, they have some sort of engineer. And if they're smugglers, they probably have a couple of fighters. Let's say they have 2 fighters. So they have 2 marines, I guess. Where's the main airlock on this? 3. Okay, so here's the main airlock. It's right next to the bridge. That's convenient. We can go into the bridge and shoot people. Okay, let's put some colored blobs down to represent NPCs. Let's make them orange blobs for enemy NPCs. I guess they're gonna be like waiting at the airlock, so I'll have like one guy like here, like by this iris door. So we could just roll to determine how the boarding action goes. But I don't know, it feels like playing out might be more fun. Let's have a look at what we'd actually roll for here. Okay. So to resolve boarding action, it's an opposed roll. Oh, not quite an opposed roll. The attacker. Okay, so we roll. We have some modifiers, and then the attacker roll minus the defender roll is what happens. I've never actually used the boarding actions table, so fun as it would be to play out like a 5+ character fight, let's try using this table. So, okay. Who has superior armor? We're probably pretty evenly matched in armor. Superior weaponry. I specifically bought expensive laser guns, so I think I probably have better weapons. Skills and tactics could go either way. I think we have similar numbers. And I think they have marines as well. So, superior skill and tactics. Do I have any like tactics knowledge? Captain Marsa would be leading the fight, I suppose. She has like basic tactics. We're probably pretty evenly matched in tactics as well, actually. So I feel like we have superior weaponry. But let's see what happens. These are just terrible rolls. Okay, so I got a... so the total is actually a 0. So the fighting continues. Okay. Guess we just roll again. I don't think we get any like bonuses or penalties for the fighting taking. Oh, we do. So if I'd roll, if the total had been like a 1, the attacker would gain a modifier. Okay. All right. So we're going to get a lot of zeros here because there's only a +1 involved on my side. That's a slightly better roll. That's a 2. Fighting continues. Resolve the boarding again another 1d rounds, but the attacker, which is me, gains a +2 modifier to my roll, and the ship being boarded loses 2d6 hull. Uh-oh. Like, collateral damage from, like, weapons fire, I guess. The ship loses 6 hull. Does that bring it down to the threshold for another critical hit? Not quite. 1 more point of damage and it'll take another critical hit, though. Okay, so I'm now having a +3 to my roll. Okay, so I rolled really well, but I guess I see the intent of this table. Like, if people are evenly matched, the fight count takes a while, but then one side starts to gain the advantage, and that then in successive rounds kind of swings the advantage towards them. So I see what it's going for here. I think it makes sense, even though probably playing out with the regular combat rules would be more fun. But I appreciate what the table is going for. So that's a 9 total. The attackers storm the enemy ship and take control of it immediately. Okay. Alright, so after several rounds of fighting, like laser blasts, like ricocheting off the walls, people going down, like crying out Wilhelm screams, we take control of the ship. I guess the enemies are, so the ship isn't fully disabled yet. It is functional. So we've got them like tied up in. So what's a good place to have them tied? Probably in like the corner of the cargo bay. Yeah, I think we'll still go with the plan of sending a distress signal for them. So we'll have them tied up in the cargo bay, and I feel it's unlikely they'll have sent a distress signal already, given that they are smugglers. Let's just roll. I say like a 2 in 6 chance they've sent a distress signal. No, they have not sent a distress signal already, so we actually have a while to check this out. So let's have a look at the Drinax looting a ship rules. There's like stuff for like finding. Here we go. Looting times. All right. So let's go through. May as well like strip this ship pretty much. So, spare parts. They probably have spare parts because it's kind of crazy not to have spare parts, but we don't have spare parts because we're poor. So, let's see. Supplies. Spare parts. Ship comes electronics. Okay. I guess I'm going to make a roll to see if they have any spare parts. I think they most likely do. So let's say 4 in 6 chance they've got spare parts we can just take. No, they don't have any spare parts we can take. Like, the Harrier is quite a fancy ship. It has high-tech components, so maybe there's nothing here that's like usable for us, which is a shame. Cargo. So, this is a smuggling ship, we have determined, so we should determine what they are smuggling. There's like a loot table somewhere. Maybe it's in the opposite direction. Where is it? Here we go. It was literally one page. It's on the page with the cargo. That makes sense. It's in the place you'd expect, a place where a sensible person would look. Okay, so I think they're in the like Imperium to high. Well, I guess they're in like both direction. Whatever. Let's say they're going Imperium to Hyra because they're humans, and I feel the Aslan would deal with more Aslan smugglers. So they're probably coming from human space. Since they're smugglers, and since the good things are towards the like edges of the tables, I'm going to say that we'll roll 2d6 plus 3 to see what they've got. That is a 10. Advanced manufactured goods. That's what they're smuggling. Very nice. Probably doing to fence advanced manufactured goods. You know, it's advanced. Okay. We don't have any robots or grappling arms or anything, so we actually have to like move this manually. So probably what we'll do is, we'll like force one of their crew members to switch off the artificial gravity, and we'll do the same in our ship, just to make maneuvering it a little bit easier. You know, still got the inertia to contend with, but you're not actually like lifting. You can like push something, and it'll start going. Okay. Let's look at the trade table in here. Advanced machine parts. What is this? 75,000 per ton. That's not amazing, to be honest. That's actually worse than common ore. So advanced electronics. Yes, common ore is much cheaper. And advanced manufactured goods. Let's have a quick look at Drinax again. Hang on, I rolled a 10, didn't I? Yeah. Yes. 10 advanced manufactured goods. Which is 100,000 per ton. That's much better. Okay. I wonder how much they have. What does it say in here? An average of freighter will have 1D times 10 plus 40% of its cargo space filled. Though these are smugglers, so it's probably less than that. Let's just drop the plus 40. Let's say they've got the 1D6 times 10 tons of this. Okay, they have, so 40% of their cargo bay is full of this. The cargo bay for one of these guys, 64 tons. So they have 25 tons of this stuff, which will fit into our cargo bay, so that's good. Oops, that's what I wanted to click there. Okay, 25 tons of advanced machine parts. It was machine parts, right? Whatever it is. Manufactured goods. Yes, okay. Right, let's note down. Do I have a space for cargo on here? I've not made a space for cargo. That's a little odd. Okay, I'll take 25 tons of... let's put it here, I suppose. Okay, so it is 100,000 credits each. We need to fence it, so we're only going to get a fraction of this, which is a shame. But it's better than nothing. So we're currently sitting on 2.5 million credits, which is actually more than we... Well, we're only going to get a fraction of that. Let's see, there's something in here, in the main Drinax book, actually, about fencing, how much we get for fencing. Yeah, so it depends on how good the port, like how much the port likes us. I believe Exocet would be a suspicious port. So we only get 10% of this. So we'd get 250,000 credits, which feels like it's not worth it after all this. Yeah, that's really not very much money. I suppose we need to like make some ports like us more. So if we went to like a tolerant port, we'd get 500k, which is still not amazing. Okay, the best we could do for this is 750,000. Still not great. Hmm. Yeah, I guess we probably can't really like, use advanced manufactured goods for anything. Let's see what it says about fencing. Let's see. Yeah. 50 tons of wood or ore can be sold anywhere. 50 tons of brand new TL-15 robots are covered in tracking numbers and codes and have to be sold through a fence. I think we do need to fence this. It's advanced. All right. Okay, so we have 25 tons of advanced manufactured goods, which we're not really going to get that much money for, but eh. What else could we take? So this is going to take 1d6 minutes per ton. So just like a couple of hours. A couple of hours to move this over. It's a good thing no one sent out a distress signal. The ship safe. Okay, so we have multiple crews, so we can have like we can have one guy. We have the gunner who can be holding a big gun, watching over the tied up NPCs, whereas our marines, or maybe a marine can be watching over them, and our gunner and Master Dank can be moving that cargo over for a few hours. Ben Parr, who sings spacious shanties, he's probably trying to be a bit serious in this situation. So he's like humming a space shanty rather than singing. I think Adro, who is covered in prison tattoos, he's a good person to watch over the captured NPCs. He sounds pretty imposing. And then Master Dank can be moving stuff. So that was cargo. We've got treasure. Equipment. Honestly, equipment gets you so little money, there's no point taking it. The ship's safe, though, is not much, but let's see. The ship's safe will be, yeah, easily like saleable stuff. Stuff you can use in place of cash. So it's not going to have like tracking codes or anything like that, so we don't need to fence it. There's going to be a recon check. Who is good at recon? I don't think anyone has recon. No one has recon. Okay, so I guess if Master does it, int plus recon should be rolling at a -1. She could do it. And we'll also roll d6 for how long she spends doing this. Okay, so she spends 2 hours on this and does not find the safe, and the crew do not tell us. Okay. I think that's probably all the looting done then. So okay, so we have our cargo, which I've got noted down somewhere. Here we go. Yes, 25 tons of advanced manufactured goods. And it's time to jump away. So before we jump away, the last thing we'll do is John, because he's good with computers, will go into the bridge and just like start the like automated distress signal going. He'll maybe also like start the ship's autopilot up to kind of just take him like slowly moving towards the starport. Like start like on a delay. Let's see if he can manage that. It's gonna be electronic computers, I guess. That's a success. So okay, so he sets up like an autopilot to wait like 2 hours. So just to give us plenty of time to undock and jump away. To start like slowly taking them towards the starport, and it'll take them slowly so they're not at risk of crashing into anything. So we set that up. Ike, throughout this whole time, I'm sure has been saying, emitting curses, saying like a mixture of like gloating at how the mighty have fallen, how Mars is now a common criminal like him, but also saying like, I'll get my own back, you'll see, that sort of thing. And we jump away. So I think our temporary repair to our power plant is probably worn off at this point, or at least it will when we're in jump space. So let's just note down this. So, I guess we could jump straight to Clark. Or is there anyone else that... It would be nice to have a closer fence. But I don't know where we could find one. How much money do we have? Okay, we got 500,000 credits, and we're gonna make how much was it? Not very much of that. We're gonna make 250,000. So okay, so we're a bunch of that will have to go to King Oleb and our crew, but we are going to make a substantial amount compared to what we currently have, though there will be like fuel costs and stuff, and we'll probably spend a bunch of it on repairs actually. But you know, it's not so bad. All right. I mean, we could go somewhere else to try to fence, but we need to like find a fence. I'm not sure how we do that. I think it's streetwise to find a fence. Let's have a look. Does it mention anything in here? Let's have a quick look. Search for fence. Finding a lot of instances of defense, which is not quite what I'm looking for. Selling cargo. Oh, that's in the mission. Yeah. Anything in the main Pirates of Drinax book? Quick look. Yeah, no. So, surely something about how to find a fence. Surely. Maybe it's in like the core rulebook in the description of let's see, fence. Maybe not. I'm sure it's probably a streetwise check. Let's go with that. Illegal goods, here we go. Okay, no, this isn't about how to find people. This is just about doing it. I'm sure maybe it's in the central supply catalog, like under equipment availability. The black market. Okay, right, yes, it's a streetwise check and it's a modifier based on law level. So this is for finding someone who would sell you illegal goods, but I'm sure we could use this to find someone who would buy illegal goods. So maybe it's worth not going all the way to Exeter, given this is actually a relatively low-value haul. Maybe we should find somewhere a bit closer. So we want someone with a low lore level. A low lore level is also going to be more friendly to pirates. So ideally, like a low lore level, high-tech world would be good. And I say high-tech world, and there's a place called Tech World right here, which I noticed actually has a fairly low lore level of 4. It's possibly Tech World might be the place to go. Let's have a look. Falcon. I feel there's something special about Falcon in Pirates of Drinax. Yes, a rumor that may or not be true. There's an old woman who runs a Starport bar in Falcon who knows more about freighter schedules and how to rob them than anyone else. Falcon has lore level 8, though. So it will be much less friendly. Is there anything interesting in Falcon, though? Let's see, there's something about like how we can bring over worlds. So ultimately, there's a campaign about like bringing worlds into the like Drinax fold by befriending them, by spending lavishly at them and like giving them stuff. So it is worth it going to a world and trying to like start to sway them. Okay, so there is a mission we can do on Falcon to move them one step closer to being a haven. Is there anything for Tech World? Actually, no. There's nothing in here for Tech World. There might be in the Traveller Companion. Let's have a look. Hang on, was there something interesting here? Oh no, this is just about piracy response. Speaking of, I guess we should roll for piracy response because we've just done a thing. So, like eventually, someone from the Starport will go pick up this ship in distress, and they'll see like the crew tied up and the ship really shot up and the cargo taken. So, we should definitely roll for piracy response here. So let's have a look. So we roll. Roll 2d6 and add the relevant modifiers and the current piracy response index. There is no piracy response index at the moment, so we just need to add the modifiers. So 2d6. Pawn is an A-class starport, so that's going to be a +6. The circumstance. I think we're on the modestly violent raid or personal items and important components taken, leaving a ship badly damaged or out of service. Because all the ones above that are like hostages taken or people killed or whatever. So I think we're rolling 2d6 +7. Okay, that is a 14. So that means we get a piracy response. We have to roll. So, okay, right, yeah. So now we roll 2d6 +0. 3. A vague statement of reassurance or condemnation. Piracy response index +1. So it starts low, but then kind of like snowballs from there. So let's see. I think our standing is unchanged. 1 piracy response. What week are we in? We're in week 18. So the port authorities rescue the Astral Horizon, and they see the appalling state the ship is in, and there is a vague statement of condemnation of pirates. The ship were smuggling, we've established that, so, like, as far as I aware, nothing was taken. It's just, you know, stuff was left in a really bad condition. Presumably something was taken. Maybe that explains why the response is so weak. Anyway, so that's the piracy response. This will gradually decline over a period of weeks. Back to finding a place to go fence stuff. Maybe Tech World. Yeah, let's go for Tech World. I have a source book on the Borderland sector which will describe Tech World, but I've not read through it, so I'm not gonna like. I mean, I'll open up to show you. Look, behold, I have a PDF. But I'm not gonna. There's a lot of stuff in here which I should skim through if we're going to be looking into like this subsector a bit more. But I'm not really going to go through it now. But I'm sure there is stuff about Tech World in here somewhere. And we got stuff about Falcon. And Tech World. So yes, Tech World. We've got a lot of stuff about here. We have like a whole system map, which you don't generally get. So we know about the worlds that aren't just the main world. So on and so forth. Got robots, people. It could be interesting to like really dive deep into one of these worlds, or maybe even multiple of these worlds, and flesh things out. Because normally in travel, I find you just kind of go to a world, do your stuff at the starport, and then leave. So it'd be fun to like flesh out some personalities. Anyway, that's for the future. I think let's go to Tech World. So we are in Pawn. We're going to jump to either Hilfer or Parl. I wonder if... I don't think either really has an advantage. They're both Class B starports. Okay, let's jump to Hilfer, because it is the closest. So we jump to Hilfer. And I think we'll arrive in week 20 because, we took a few days to refuel. We had to fight the ship. It's a little over a week for a jump, so I'm just rounding up rather than keeping track of days. Right, so we arrive in Hilfer. Let us dock with the starport, refuel. We don't really have any cargo space for mail. It's a Class B starport, so it's going to cost some amount of money. We could possibly get repairs done here, actually. No, Hilfer's fairly low tech compared to our ship. I think we want to get repairs done at Tech World, if either Tech World or Drinax. Possibly we could. Yeah, there's a thought. Maybe if we get our repairs done at Tech World, we pay they try to make friends with the like manager of the repair crew. Like maybe slip him a few extra credits or a few thousand extra credits, and start cultivating him as an asset. Because I think it'll be good to start building up some assets. Anyway, starports. Let's hear stuff about repairs. Where's the thing about berthing fees? Berthing costs is on page 225, which is in the world and universe section, creation section, which is not the spacecraft operating. Anyway, it's a B class starport, so it's going to cost 1d6 times 5 credits. Okay, they think they're a big port. They can charge a lot of 3,000 credits. Okay. Let's note that down on the finances. Where are we? We're in Hilfer. And we're in week 20. We'll need to pay for salaries and life support and maintenance and stuff. So I guess I'll just do all of that here at Hilfer. So, yeah. Paying 6,000 in wages now because we've got 3 crew members. Got our life support to pay for. Life support is some amount of money. I believe this is in the spacecraft operations. Yeah, here we go. Life support's 1,000 credits per stateroom. Oh, that's per stateroom, and then 1,000. It's 1,000 per person per month, so it's 250 per person per week. Yes, that's 5,000 credits. We have our maintenance. And we have our life support. We have like a fixed life support cost, and then we have a variable life support cost that depends on the amount of people. Okay. Spent like 80,000 credits just showing up at Hilfer. Right, so we'll refuel. Should have rolled a space encounter on our way in. See which is the relevant random encounter table to look at here. We've got some starport encounters. Let's go have a look at a starport encounter. Oops, it's a D66. Let's re-roll and get a 10s die here. 30, 32. What's going on here? A demonstration outside the starport. So people here are mad about something. What's going on in Hilfer? Why are people mad? Let's see, Hilfer. Hilfer. Okay, maybe the world is pretty dry, so a mission we can do here is dragging water asteroids to Hilfer. I should open my Trojan Reach book. That has a little bit about each world. Let's get that up. Hilfer, hot desert world, once part of the Kingdom of Drinax. Not really much said there. Is it like a high law level world or something? It is a pretty high law level world. Maybe there's like water riots happening. Yeah, let's note that down as a potential future thread. If there's water riots, maybe it's probably like the elites who are, well, it must be the elites who are restricting access to water, like no one else could do it. So I guess the elites are restricting access to water on this hot desert world, and the non-elites think that's unfair. So maybe we could not only supply water to this world, maybe we could help force a regime change and put in a government who might be more friendly to Drinax. You know, if Drinax comes in and like supports the rebels and promises to help them with their water problem, that could be a good way to bring them into the fold. I mean, yes, that's something for the future. Now let's fly off and jump to Tech World. It's gonna be another week. I think we can do this all in a single week. So yeah, we'll repool it and so on. So Tech World is a Class A starport, right? Yeah, it is. It's going to be D6 times 1,000 credits as the birthing fee. Oops. Oh no, 6,000 credits birthing fee. Okay. 6,000 credits is the birthing fee. We need to pay a week's worth of life support. I think it just makes sense paying life support whenever I dock at a starport. It's simpler, less to forget. Okay. Again, let's roll space encounter for Tech World as we kind of come in. What do we see going on? Got a 34 there. Where are the space encounters? Page 146. I think I'll resolve this encounter and then I'll have a short break because it's been nearly 2 hours. Okay, right, let's see what's going on. What modifier have we got here? So we are approaching the high ports. That's a +3. So that's a 64. It is high traffic space. It's on like a major trade route. So that's an 84. Okay, 84. We see an orbital habitat. That's pretty cool. There's maybe like a few of them in orbit around Tech World. We have to like not really weave between them, but we kind of, as we approach the port, we see these habitats. And actually, Tech World has a really cool high port. So let me just find that because it does look very good. I want to show it off. I'm not sure which book it's going to be in though. Here we go. Yeah, this is the Tech World downport. So the planet-side spaceport. It's this large, like, black semicircle. Hemisphere, that's the word. A large black hemisphere made up of, like, billions of like, tiny, like, robots or something, or is it like, smart bioplastic, it says, that just kind of, like, holes open in it for ships to fly through, and it reconfigures itself to like produce needed rooms and facilities. Very cool. Anyway, we come into land. We're gonna refuel again. And next, we're gonna look for a fence. But I'm going to step away for a few minutes as it has been 2 hours. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, I'm back. I got up and realized I was ravenously hungry, so I think I'm going to keep playing for a bit and then maybe end the stream early so I can make food. So we have come to Tech World. We've just done all of our financy stuff, so now we need to find a fence. And okay, we want to do two things on Tech World. We want to get our ship repaired and try to cultivate the like overseer of the repair place as an asset, because that means if we come here with, I guess we are coming here with battle damage. It means if we come here, that has given me pause. We've come here with battle damage. Are we going to be questioned about that? Let's have a look. This is all in the okay. So Tech World has law level 4, which means it is neutral. Neutral is this second tolerant row in the table. Another slight problem with Mongoose PDFs is they have a lot of errors, like a lot of typos. Okay, so I think showing up with battle damage is a little risky. I should have thought that through. So I am going to roll on this risk arrest amount. So if I get a 12, the authorities are going to have something to say about, like, why are you showing up in a commerce raider ship that shows signs of battle damage? Let's have a look through your cargo hold. Oh, it's full of advanced whatever it was, advanced manufactured goods. Care to show the paperwork and where you got those? Okay, I didn't get a 12. It's fine. So what does it say about Tech World? The human population of Tech World is around 4,000. The robot population is about 1 million and rising. Tech World is attracting increasing numbers of researchers who wish to pursue lines of inquiry not permitted in the Imperium. Okay, so maybe Tech World is a little lax with some things. Anything more about Tech World in here? Yeah, we've got these guys. What does it... It's not going to read the whole thing. What does it, like, basically say about Tech World? Not an inviting planet. Looks very brown. Okay. Ships approach a seemingly solid barrier and pass through it as if it were liquid. Very cool. Okay. Once within the port, the first thing that strikes the travelers is just how many robots there are. It seems like everything is automated with no people around most of the time. Okay, cool. So we're not being questioned because there's nobody here to question us. This does mean it might be a little hard to I mean, Tech World can't just be a safe place because it's automated. That'd be too easy. I think we do need to cultivate a relationship here. Like, I think we've maybe got lucky this time, but yeah. So Tech World is managed by a small group of super rich scientists. Adventures in Tech World. Mad scientists. Okay, I'll read through the Tech World description like more between sessions because I think it'd be cool to like really develop at least one world. Like make it like a base away from Drinax. But I guess we need to just make contact with someone in some position of authority in Tech World to try to like cultivate an asset who would make maybe like the automated systems overlookers showing with more obvious battle damage. Maybe we got away with it this time because our ship just looks like crap to begin with. So I think I'm going to use this black market thing. So I want to use the black market thing to find a fence, and then I want to try to cultivate the repair overseer. So let's start with the fence. So it's based on availability. This is a broker or streetwise check. It has to be streetwise because we're doing things illegally. So I guess it's going to be who's our streetwise person? I think John is our streetwise person. Yeah. Streetwise 1. And it's probably going to be like int. It'd be sock. So sock is a kind of weird characteristic. It's often used in place of charisma, but it's not charisma. Sock is your social standing, which is correlated with charisma, but it's not the same thing. So sometimes what I do in Traveler is I kind of flip the sock modifier. So like if you're in a situation where being like a low life is more of an advantage, like having a high sock would be penalty and a low sock is a bonus. I think I'm gonna now let's go with intelligence. Intelligence streetwise, try to find some sort of broker, and it's a low level 4 world, so we don't get a modifier from there. Yeah, okay. So it's going to be 2d6 plus 2. We want to get an 8 or higher. That is a 7. So we do not successfully find a fence on Tech World. That is a shame. Maybe we can find what was I looking for? So maybe we can still make friends with someone in the port, though, to get someone who can repair battle damage without asking too many questions. And maybe I can try looking for a fence again in the future. Maybe there's nobody here right now. So let's have a look at what the companion, not this companion says about recruiting assets. Which is described somewhere. Here we go, assets and factions. Courting assets. So finding an asset is an average streetwise check. With a -2 penalty if the law level is 4+. Let's see, is it going to be streetwise here? If we know the sort of person we're talking to. Yeah, it probably is streetwise. Okay, so I guess this is going to be just a 2d6 roll because we've got a -2 from the law level and a +2 from our stats. That's a success. Why couldn't I have got that with the broker? Okay, so what happens is we go dock at Tech World, and John goes off to like arrange the ship repairs, and uses his like bonds with his like engineering and mechanical knowledge with like the one guy in the in this like repair organization of robots. It must be pretty lonely running an entirely robotic crew. And after like a few hours of hanging out, maybe they go to the Tech World Starport bar. We managed to kind of befriend this guy. So we need a name for this character. Let's find our name generator. Tries to generate a pronounceable name. Okay, we've got a name. And it's a good name too. Izalaski is to his friends. So, is based on Tech World, his asset value would be a 0. That's what they start as. I need to know his sock, which is unfortunate. So I guess I'll just roll this using the normal rules. He's got 9 sock. Why is he deigning to hang out with our like 3 sock Varga guy? Um, I don't think he probably doesn't have like a specific mission at the moment. Oh, the starting AC is equal to the effects of the check. I got an 8, so is starting. Uh, there's an AC and a V. Yeah, this is supposed to be a C, right? AC is assets something. Anyway, we have this guy. I think basically I just want this person to be an asset so that he will overlook us showing up with spaceship, like obvious like combat damage to our spaceship. Because if you show up at a port with battle damage on our spaceship, they're going to ask questions. So we've made friends with Iz. He's not willing to do anything illegal for us yet, but you know we've got to start a relationship. Now let's work out if we need to pay for repairs here. I think that might actually be described in the not this companion, the other companion, this companion, the Drinaxian companion. So there's something in here about like actually repairing its damage. It's a very high-tech ship, so it's expensive to repair. Okay, so emergency repairs can be carried out as normal, but they'll fail after a while. Repair made with due regard to correct procedures or the correct materials takes 3 times as long as normal, but just works. What about like regular maintenance? Oh, I guess this isn't regular maintenance fixing thing. Okay. Does it just take a really long time? Maybe so. Maybe so. Let's go find stuff about like ship repairs in the core rulebook, see how much that costs. So it's not the normal like running cost of repair. Repairs. Here we go. Okay, so it costs spare parts. This doesn't tell us how much it costs to get it done at a starport. There's something in here about starports, like services. I might just have to like pick a price. It might not actually say. Yeah, offers repair, but what does repair mean? Repair facilities allow a damaged ship to be repaired and have plenty of spare parts for the most common systems. Yeah, doesn't say how much it's able to repair, or like what it costs rather. So okay, I guess Just go back to how many spare parts were needed. Okay, right, so what have we got? We've got 2 critical hits to repair and a bunch of hull damage. And how many spare parts is going to depend on the effects of a check. I guess we'll just say that each one takes one. We're not going to do the check. We'll assume they're charging us for at least 1 ton of spare parts per thing. How much do spare parts cost? 100,000 credits per ton. 100,000 credits per ton for spare parts. Was this? I feel like this was something that was errated. Let's see. Let's see. 1 more to hull damage requires 1 ton of spare parts. It costs 100,000 credits. Okay, so in my version of the rulebook here, it says that it's 1 ton of spare parts every 10 hull points repaired. Apparently, in the updated rulebook, it is 1 ton of spare parts per 1 hull points repaired, which is multiplying the cost of hull repairs by 10. It's kind of hard to know how much things cost sometimes because the Mongoose books have lots of typos. Let's just see if do I have an errata PDF at all. I don't. I do have High Guard though. The ship book. This might mention spare parts. Actually, what was it? Okay, it doesn't have a cost of spare parts in here. I mean, 100,000 credits per ton of spare parts seems like a lot of money. Like, a lot. I'm inclined to say it should be 10,000. Let me just see. Yeah, I find on the internet some people saying that like the costs are excessive. Some people saying that it's not. The Google AI summary has some numbers which I don't know where they come from at all. Let's see, repairing ships. Yeah, that doesn't mention costs. Yes, the AI summary says that in Pirates of Drinax, spare parts can be sourced at lower values, sometimes 5,000 credits per ton. Like, where? Where does it say that? I think I'm going to say 10,000 credits per ton of spare parts. Like, 100,000 credits seems like a lot. Then again, if you do repair 10 hull points with 1 ton, I guess it's 10,000 credits per hull point, which isn't actually outrageous, I suppose. Yeah, all right. Let's go with 100,000 credits per ton of spare parts. Even though it seems excessive for things that need a full ton, but whatever. And I guess we can say that Starport repairs is going to be 100,000 per critical hit, and then 10k per hull points. And I suppose then again that's the same cost as doing it yourself. I suppose the advantage is there's no skill check needed, like it just works. It would be nice to have some guidance for like how much like repairing things at a start pot costs, for instance. But it doesn't say that. So okay. Yes, we'll go with this. I guess I'll note this down in the finances sheet. So critical hit is 100,000 credits per severity, and whereas you could potentially do that better yourself if you roll well with your engineer or mechanic check. And hull points are 10,000 credits per hull point. And yes, it just works, no checks. You just go in, say, hello, my ship is broken, please fix it, and then some hours later your ship is fixed. So a full repair. What are we on? So we were on 46 HP. We are now on 29. It'll be 17. 170k to repair the hull. Which I think is worth doing. And then it'll be 200,000 to repair the critical hits, but that would leave us with like almost no money, especially given that we can't fence here. So, because we don't know a fence. That's a real pain. I wonder if there's anywhere else we could maybe try to find a fence. XC is an interesting world. It has a lore level of 1, but it has a B-class starport. What's going on there? Let's see, XC. XC Station is a lonely little refueling post in the middle of the borderlands, owned and operated by Jedico. The station is mostly automated, so the crew little to do other than haul liquid hydrogen back from the local gas giant for fuel. As this too is mostly automated, they are very, very bored. That sounds like a potential place to find a fence. You know, like a little out of the way place. It is on. It's like right next to the main trade route, but it is not on the main trade route. The crew are bored. They're looking for like anything to occupy themselves. Yeah, I think XC is a good place to find a fence. So let's get our hull repaired here at Tech World. We will also get the other. We had 2 critical hits. One of them was a weapon. I think we can kind of ignore that for now. We can just not use our thingy-majig, missile turret. But our power plant, I think we want to get that repaired. So let's spend 100,000 credits getting that repaired. That's going to take like a week to do these repairs, at least, surely. So then we shall go jump to thingy, Xe, in week 22 and try to find a fence. So we'll arrive, we'll pay the birthing costs, we'll pay a week of life support. It's week 20. Oh, it's not. It is time to pay salaries, so I guess we'll do that at Xe as well. But yes, let's. Okay, that's 2,000 as the birthing fee. We should roll a space encounter. 15 on page 157. 146. 15. It is. I suppose it's a high port. So 45. 45. A space station. Okay. We see a space station. That's what we're flying to. So we come fly into Xe, we pay the birthing cost, which is 2,000. It's now week 23, right? 23? Yes. We shall refuel. We've got to pay a week of life support, and we don't need to pay. We do need to pay wages. I really hope we get a fence here because we're running low on money. Wait, no, we don't pay. We don't need to pay wages yet. We paid wages in week 20. It's only week 23. Okay, we're good. Right, let's try to find a fence, and we'll again do the central supply catalog. So it is a law level 1 world because it gives a +1. It's going to be an int streetwise. Check. It's 2 plus 3. I mean, I'm gonna give a I'm gonna say that we're rolling with a boon because they're really bored on this world. It's like the perfect place for a fence to be. So I think that helps. Okay. We got a 13. We found a fence. Yes. Okay. Also, this world with its law level of 1 is going to like us. Let's find the stuff about worlds. So it has law level 1, which means it is tolerant to pirates. Nice. Let's note that down here. So I'm only like bothering to note this down for worlds that you know, well, ports I suppose that have reason to think we're pirates, and I don't know. I feel like word is going to get around in this place if it's, you know, small and everyone is bored. So I'm not putting down. I suppose maybe I should put down Tech World. Yeah, I'll put down Tech World. I'm not going to put down thingy, Exocet yet because I feel Exocet have no reason to suspect that we're pirates. You know, we went and dealt with who they were concerned was a legit trader. But in Xe, it's a small, it's like a skeleton crew. So surely the secret of someone here being a fence is out. And in Tech World, we made friends with someone and we're like, hey, if we come in with maybe a bit of basal damage, would you be able to like look the other way? So Tech World is neutral to us. Our assets. Yep. Okay, I think we'll just say that this fence we've met. We'll say the roll to find them counts as that. That's what established them as an asset. Oh, I've got these sorted by name. Let's not do that. Actually, let's get them sorted by location. Yeah. Okay, so this is on XE. We got a 13 on our rolls. That's a 5 as our AC, I believe. I think. Let's check that. No, the asset always starts at AC 0. Okay. But then here we can make a roll to establish a relationship. Why is it 2 separate rolls? Let's say we establish a relationship. Why not? We do a sock for this person. I think it's going to be fairly low because they're on this backwater roll with a Bane die. Okay, their sock is 3. We need a name for this fence. Got my Villani name generator. Let's go for a... I don't... Why doesn't it have a Soleimani name generator in here? Anyway, let's generate maybe a Silean style name. Shenseek. Okay, we have Shenseek based on XE. It's a fence. As XE is tolerant, we will get 20% of the value of our stuff. So what have we got to sell? We have... I got it noted down in one of my many tabs. Here we go. Pirate fleet. We have 25 tons at 100,000 credits each, and we get 20% of this. 500,000 credits. Perfect. What do we note down before? Loot. Okay, now 10% of this will go to King Oleb. And some of it will go to the crew. So we have 450,000. We have how many shares do we have? So we've got 3 NPCs and 2 player characters. So the player characters get 2. NPCs get 1 share each. Player characters get 2 shares each, and the captain gets 5 shares. So that's 37,500 per share. So we lose 112,500 to the NPCs. What did I put that down as before? NPC shares. Okay, I think we've come out of this session with a little less money than when we started. But we have successfully pirated and we have made 2 friends. So I think that is a great success. What can we do to make XE like Drinax? XE. It is remarkably easy to turn XE into a friendly pot. Just bribe them. A few thousand credits each and the crew can be bought. Very nice. Then let's do that. um, let's spend. Actually, I think it'd be good to like. Okay, just handing over money, I guess, would work by the book, but that's kind of boring. I think it would be nice to like bring the guys at Xe like some like 500-year-old like Drinaxy wine and just like throw like a lavish party that lasts for like a fortnight. Just a huge deal. Spend thousands of credits on this, lavish gifts. Um, yeah, just give these guys a really good time and make sure they come out of this with a lot of money. And that will be how we turn Xe into a friendly port. But I think we can do that next time because I'm famished. So let's go to our log. Okay, it's still week 23. Yes, so I think we want to throw a huge party on Xe to convert it into a friendly port. We want to return to Tech World to get our critical hit on the missile turret repaired. Can we get our other damages repaired? How much do repair things cost? Making repairs. So a structural repair unit costs 250,000 and a technical repair unit costs 750,000. So I think we need like millions of credits really to repair the damage to the Harrier. So what do we need to repair it with? So we can repair the hull some more. We could spend 250k and get another 2d6 hull point, which would be nice. But we're not like really like we're not rolling in money. That would be over half of what we got, and we need to throw a huge party on Xe first. Not like 100,000 of credits worth of party, but a big deal. So okay, I think we will leave it there, and next time. Oh yes, I should say there might not be a session next week. I may have family visiting Friday next week. But whenever the next session is, if it's next week or the week after, we will begin by, I guess, jumping back to Tech World to get repaired. We'll maybe carry some mail and cargo and stuff as we make our way back to Drinax. In Drinax, we will pick up lavish party supplies, and then we will come back to Xe. I think carrying some cargo and stuff along the way to throw a huge party and convert this into a friendly port. So thanks for watching. I will go make some food before I digest myself while sitting in my chair. And I will see you tomorrow for more Esoteric Ebb.